All right, welcome to Corin Specific Technique, KST, not KFC now, remember that. Now look, I got to take a little survey. How many people here are first-timers? Woo! How many are refreshers? Almost equal, that's quite a number. Now listen, for you first-timers, welcome to an exciting world that you don't know enough about yet. For you refreshers, you're going to get more excited than you were before. Now, if you look at your pens, it says on there, healing from the core. Now, which healing arts doesn't do that? You can't argue with that with chiropractic. You can't argue with that with acupuncture. By the way, how many are chiropractors here? Very good. Any non-chiropractors here? Very good. Now, I got a question for you. When you were young, Friday and Saturday nights were very important. You didn't say, hey, let's go to a seminar. But you're here. Why? How many have patients or clients that you've gotten them better, but you felt like, I could only go so far, I wish I could go further? Any of those? All right. And I'm thinking that most of you are here, one, for your patients or clients, but mostly for yourself and your family. Is that accurate? All right. Now, let me ask this question. It's very important, and I hope to see every hand. How many in here think you're pretty smart? Come on. If you're not, why are you here, by the way? All right. Now, I don't want to see any hands on this one. How many of you think that you're smarter than the body? Good. Now, what Corin-specific technique will allow you to do is speak to the body and ask it what it wants, and more importantly, in what order does it want it? Now, as practitioners, normally like, whoa, that guy needs this, that guy needs... Who died and made us king? Nobody. Corin technique will employ occipital drop, a way for you to communicate and interface with the body so that it can tell you what it needs, what it wants, and that you're not fighting against it. Now, the other exciting part of this is Ted came up with KST because he wanted to heal himself. So once you master this technique, not only can you help others, but you'll be able to help yourself and your family. We just had a doctor pass away, John D'Onofrio, out of Reading, 64 years old. Way too young. When I adjusted him, he just seemed so stiff, I thought, uh-oh, this ain't right. I went to school at Parker. This ain't right. 64 was too young. And what my hypothesis is he spent all his life caring for his patients and not enough time caring for himself. Many of us are guilty of that. So this technique will allow you by yourself to be able to adjust yourself. That's how KST came about. Ted had something fall on his head, and he'll tell you about it, and nothing was working for him. So he came up with this technique to be able to finally relieve himself and then went further with it to spread it to the world. KST is around the world, right, Ted? All around the world. All right. So, I want to tell you what happened to me this week. I went to his house, and I'm a chiropractor, Kent Osmond, Nazareth, Pennsylvania. And I consider myself pretty good as a chiropractor, but about 6 months ago, I found it hard to breathe, or I was getting out of breath. And of course, just like laymen do, and even practitioners, I jumped to the worst possible conclusion. It's a heart situation. Oh my God. My mom died of a heart disease. My father died of a heart disease. That's it. Elizabeth, I'm coming. I've gotten adjusted by regular chiropractors for those 6 months. And I was sure, just like everyone else, jumped to the worst possible conclusion. I went to Ted's house. He checked me out. He goes, you've got a sternum that's locked up. Who knew? By a few taps and unlocking the front of this sternum, I'm able to breathe again. It wasn't a heart attack. How relieved do I feel? And again, you may know this as practitioners, it's hard to do it for yourself most of the time. Just like the line, somebody who has themselves as an attorney has a fool for a client. But something so simple, and yet I was ready to think and worry that it was something with my heart. Now, what got me into KST was this. We used the arthrostim. Very light, very gentle. And Ted's line was, for every osseous patient you've got, there's 19 others that are afraid to come and get cracked. And with KST, I'm finding out that there's a lot more people that will let me tap them than let me crack them. So what does that do? It allows you to be able to reach more people.
I'm relatively new to this concept. I was telling Beth this morning, I've been at this for 30 years now, and been getting emails and a few things, and there was something. In fact, I got a home study thing about 5 years ago. I looked and I was like, I never even opened it. Can you believe that? I spent $1,000 and never, I think maybe I opened the first page and set that aside. I was so just like, what am I doing in practice? And anyway, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I finally said, you know what? I'm going to go see this KST thing. I'm going to try this and just see what it's all about. I'm curious because it just seems like the rest of the profession is basically telling us that we're mechanistic and we are not vitalistic, and it's stupid to think that way. And the public perception of chiropractic is, you're not really doctors, you're not really doing that much. You need to let the market go ahead and decide what it thinks about you instead of you being the decision maker in your life. Anyway, luckily 3 weeks ago I said yes to a KST experiment or experience out in Denver. Went to the seminar, was there Friday night, and they showed me the OD, and really was excited about that. I'd owned an arthrostim now for about probably 5, 6, 7 years, but used it a little bit, but not much. Mostly used to do Pedibond and some of the bigger movement type techniques. Gonstead was what I was trained in, so just your basic Palmer diversified package. Anyway, went through Saturday, had an unbelievable, just almost an epiphany. I could not believe how this fit into my brain for the first time and how the excitement continued to gain and gain. Sit there to listen to Dr. Ted and Kevin. Dr. Kevin was there, and it just made more and more sense. And we had some dinner Saturday night with Beth and Ted and the rest, and by Sunday at about 1 o'clock, I still couldn't quit standing there asking questions. Poor Beth and Dr. Ted, I followed them up to their room. Sorry about that. Anyway.
He still does.
Anyway, so what happened? That was Sunday. On Monday morning, I had a decision to make. The first patient came in, and as we all know, our practices are actually us, right? Our practices are a picture of what we're thinking inside, our energy towards it. It's always our energy towards it that decides how we're doing. You agree with that? I think anyway. Instead of laying this first patient down, I went ahead and grabbed my arthrostim and checked the OD. And I said, I think it was Mary. Let's call her Mary. Mary, you know what? I just learned something about standing people up instead of laying them down. It's going to be a better adjustment. The neurology works better. Your computer senses it better because all your computer chips are going to really dig this. And I think you're going to feel better right away. There's no recovery from what I do. So let's just go ahead and try this and let's see how it goes. So I checked her, I adjusted her, I found some things, started tapping on her head, and she's like, what's going on here? You've never done this to me. I'm like, I know, it's cool. It's unbelievable, but I think you're going to feel better. I mean, we're both just kind of hoping on this, I was hoping I wouldn't have to give her a refund after the adjustment or then lay her down and adjust her. Anyway, she got done, she stood up, she says, I do feel lighter. And, you know, one of those things, like, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too, it's like, "Gal, I feel better." I said, "I know. I knew that was going to happen." It was great. So the rest of the day, I just said, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to use this technique on everybody. And that's what I did. And I explained it about like I just explained it there. This is how we do this. We're standing everybody up now. We've learned something new. The adjustment is better because of this. Your neurology is better. The glue of the adjustment's better because of this. By the end of the day, I had 2 new patients from the people that in the morning that had referred their loved ones in. One was a husband and the other one was a friend. And they said, "Yeah, I don't know. I feel so good by lunch," these people said, "that you got to go see this guy this afternoon." And so that's been 2 weeks ago. And in 2 weeks, you know, I was seeing about, 30 to 40 a day. It has basically doubled in 2 weeks. It's like something has happened. And I feel like it's an alignment with God for me. It's just like I'm finally getting to a purpose that's me. You know, it's truly finally an exhibition of what I am meant to do. And it's been heart-rendering for me. It's just like, oh my gosh, I was that close to quitting. I was that close to calling it a day. I'm exhausted. You go home at night and you're like, why is it that here's what I'm doing, watching TV again, or, you know, just not really fulfilled. And that's not why I wanted to be a doctor in the first place, and it sure as heck isn't why I wanted to be a chiropractor in the first place. And so I just want to give my heartfelt thanks to you guys for changing truly my life. And my wife, she's like stunned. She said, absolutely, absolutely go to Philadelphia. I mean, it costs an arm and a leg to get here. Get there. If this much change happens in one weekend, and whatever it takes to go ahead and lift that cloud out of your life. And so, you know, we've been together almost 40 years now. And she said, I just have not seen this type of change in you and in practically a lifetime. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Tim.
So not only will your clients' patients get better, not only will you get better, but with KST, it's not going to be as much wear and tear on your body. I've had chiropractor friends, Gonstead, they've had shoulder replacements, all sorts of things. I now feel confident that, I'm 61 now, I feel confident that I can practice beyond the years that I want to. I won't have to stop because of a physical limitation. And I think that's what chiropractic really is about, and all the healing arts. So, without further ado, and I want to say that I used to dress in boring colors till I met Beth and Ted, and I've known them since 2001. So get ready to be a better you. Dr. Ted Koren.
I'm Dr. Ted Koren, and I developed Koren-specific technique, and we're here at a KST seminar.
Seminar, greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I practiced traditional chiropractic for over 20 some years. Coming here has given me the confidence that I never had before, knowing and realizing what I'm doing is helping the patient. This is the first time I treat a patient differently every time, not what I used to do, the cookie cutter method, and people respond faster, the adjustments last longer, and you get so many more referrals. It's amazing. So I thank Ted every day.
It's helped me in a lot of ways. It's helped me trust my intuition. It's helped me really save my body also, because after practicing for that long, it does take a toll on your body.
This technique has made me a much better doctor. I have to say in the order of 3 to 4 times a better doctor. I can get people well in a much shorter period of time. The energy level in this seminar is all positive. Everybody's curious to learn more.
I think that just about any chiropractor would benefit from coming to a KST seminar. I think it could really revolutionize their practice. It would open up so many possibilities for them in terms of the types of patients that they could see, and it would just really bring back a lot of fun in their practice too, because it's magical. It really is.
He's excellent, truly excellent. One of the most humble men I've ever met. Deeply cares, and he just wants to help us help others in the most effective way.
Well, Ted's a natural. I mean, you know, he's motivational, not because he's a motivational speaker, but he speaks from the heart, and he does this because it's a purpose for him. You know, it's his purpose to try to help humanity, not just taking care of individuals, but try to help as many doctors as possible to be able to spread the work so that humanity can live, you know, at a higher level of experience.
I want all people to be healers, and I want them to be able to do their own healing. We're all natural born healers. Don't take my word for it, experience it, and you'll never forget it.